Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. Hopefully you all can hear me okay. I apologize about missing yesterday's stream, but thankfully not too much has occurred. Still pretty much rain bound on the shorter time frame, so we'll go over that. We'll of course go over the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation, Ethereum itself, and then from there I think we'll look at the big moves of the day and take requests. So let me just pull up the Bitcoin chart. And we can go over to the 4-hour chart. And we see that we've just been playing within this range for quite some time. I'm actually on the wrong chart. Just wanted to come down to... There you go. See that we've been within this range for quite some time. We're still waiting for this large fair value gap that we've been talking about for quite some time, pretty much since we've come up to these levels, to fill. So we can just now extend this down because this came into it. So we also have that at play. That is just going to be a longer term target, and then we can go down to the shorter time frames and see if we have any market structure breaks or anything like that. That will give us a little bit of an indication if where we're going to break out of this range. Okay, there you go. Okay, so come down to the 1-hour time frame. See right here that I believe I pointed this out, that this break right here, I would consider this to be our low that allowed us to set this new high. So I would consider this to be the market structure MSB. So if we break that line, we broke market structure. You can see we already have, right? Last week we broke below it, and I was shorting this retest of this market structure line. That's all it really was. And also we treated this as a mini range in real time last week. So beyond that, right, we pump back up above this market structure line. What do we expect to pump back into, right? Based off of my order block video, or if we're going to look for order blocks, we expect to pump back into the last significant push up before the market structure break. And we see on the 1 hour, so let me just go back actually and show you. We see on the 1 hour, see this crazy wick. Let me just get rid of this real quick. We see this crazy candle here. So that might be your less significant move up, but that's such a large range that for me, I kind of just want to, in instances like these where the order blocks or even fair value gaps sometimes are so large on bigger time frames, I just want to come down to small time frame and see maybe we can get a bit of a better picture. And we do right here. We have the less significant move up, which is just this candle, still a fairly large candle, and we might honestly be able to, I mean, we could come down to something like the 3-minute, all right, something like this, and it might still hold. Just to get a bit more of an accurate, we'll just take the last 2 candles, right? Since we're coming down to such a smaller term time frame, we're looking at the 3-minute candles to show something on the 1 hour. We'll just take 2 candles just to be a bit forgiving. This was our bearish order block. You can see that we came into this bearish order block, wicked above it, closed below, right? It's all on a closure basis. They're not going to hold perfectly like something like a fair value gap. We don't expect it to fill completely. We don't expect it to hold completely. Just close below it is a good general rule. Or, sorry, never close above it or never close below it, depending which way you are. And you can see that was also the 786. So there's a lot of good confluence there for it to get rejected. So you see that was yesterday's move, yesterday's morning move. Unfortunately, I was not really available to point that out yesterday. But we could treat this as a mini range as well. We could take a look at our volume profile. We can see, let me just get rid of this. This was from a macro talk. We still see that there's a quite significant low volume node around this region. Let's just label that out, which happens to be just above this bearish order block and nearly where price stopped. But we still usually like to see these get hit, because in these low volume nodes, right, we could also treat this as a small fair value gap. But the low value node signifies that there's a lot of trapped liquidity within these areas, and just not a lot of interest. So if we come up, fill the imbalances within this candle, and grab some extra liquidity, and then take another move down, that's to be expected. However, we did have a significant move down, so let's just look at price action now, and let's just look at more local levels. This is a scenario more of like if we get back above the porting control, back above the value area high, and then we look for this to be a target. But let's just look at more local levels right now. Can you see, coming back into this volume profile, the value area high was respected very well last time. See, this was our market structure line, but we swing failure pattern up to the value area high of this small range. We broke past it with nodal volume, came back, retested it successfully, but then we broke down below it. We held the point of control support, and we then actually broke through the point of control. And now we're looking to come back down to the value area low. So the value area low is going to be the next essentially target, right? You can come back up and retest the point of control. That might sometimes we have a slight reversal at the New York close. It's happening in 3 hours, so we might get a slight reversal back up to the point of control, retest it, and then come back down to the value area low. So the next target essentially for Bitcoin will be this value area low at 22.7 roughly. We can take a look at the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation. Get rid of anything. So what we've been waiting for, we just get rid of the daily open. What we've been waiting for is for, actually, hold on. I do want that fib level, here you go. Well, what we've been waiting for is for Ethereum to come and retest this value area high, as long as we're above this 786. Now, on the 1 hour, I believe we did. We are still within this mini range, right? There's no problems yet. We haven't invalidated any upward trend on the 1 hour time frame. That would be breaking below this low right here. Consider this to be your market structure line right here for bullish market structure, because we set this low to which allowed us to set this new high, and so far we've just been range bound between these 2 points. And you can see right now, actually currently, we're just at the value area low. We're holding it as support. With these types of non-USD evaluations, right, in terms of Bitcoin, we have to see a follow-through candle, right? This is not, I would not consider this to be a break. So we would have to see a follow-through candle after a break of volume profile level, but that hasn't happened just yet. So it seems to be that we're coming back up to this point of control. See that there is a slight skew to the upside on the volume profile, especially with the point of control. So a breakdown and a retest of this 786 isn't to be all too concerned about macro-wise. Let's come back down, retest this 786 Fibonacci level, and then eventually, finally retesting this value area high, which we took from this huge range over here, which we eventually broke out of, but now we're coming back into and get acceptance back into. So just a retest of this value area high on the daily chart. Then we can look for some nice big swing short positions. Going back to Ethereum, let's just take a look. Let's just go to regular, and then we can look at maybe the more macro levels. I know I put that in the thumbnail, and we can look at the more macro levels on my Bitstamp chart, and we can take a look at that. On the 4 hour, isn't looking too great, honestly. If we break below this low right here, if we close below this low at 1668, that'll invalidate the upward trend on the 4 hour chart, and signify that we're changing market structure to the downside. Let me just get rid of all these lines when we were range bound on smaller term time frames last week. Excuse me for that. You see that we did not fully get a swing failure pattern, right? We just closed below this, above this, but on the daily we did get a swing failure pattern. So where does that give us targets to? From the swing low to the swing high, so right over here. And the first target would be the 618. Let's see if we have any confluence on shorter time frames. We don't have a major confluence at the 618. We do have slight support and resistance coming in around the 620 in the 1 hour. Not too much, but we do have this very large fair value gap on the 1 hour time frame. 618 is of course in. So filling this fair value gap, taking some profits off some shorts from that daily swing failure pattern isn't too bad of an idea. And then, of course, the next take profit level is the range lows, which is currently right here. Because this is a daily swing failure pattern, we can treat this as a complete range. Excuse me. So we can take our volume profiles, and see what levels are being respected. So you see our point control is being respected fairly well. We rejected the point control right here. This looks a lot like Bitcoin, and currently just holding these little the market structure for a 4 hour time frame. So coming back up to test this point control, even come back up to the daily VWAP at this time, something like this, and then come back, retest this value area low, which is incongruent with the 618, which is incongruent with the 618, or no, 705. I apologize. 705 Fibonacci level. Coming down something like this, 705 value or low, slightly filling this fair value gap, and then we can maybe, since we flipped the market structure at that time, we can maybe pump up above this market structure and just hold it as resistance like this, and then get continuation to the downside. Something like that is what I would be looking for when coins look like this. Let's take a look at SPX. And guys, if you have any coins you want me to look at, any questions, just throw them in the chat. SPX finally came up to these range highs. Retested it, did a slight swing failure pattern, maybe even on the daily. Yep, swing failure pattern. Wick above, close below. Do we have finally playing out this slight bearish divergence? I shouldn't say slight, it is pretty significant, but it's just smaller time frames. Maybe the 4 hour, see a bit better. On 1 hour. Yeah, there you go. Finally playing out this bearish divergence, which we've been recognizing since last week. Probably even before that. August, whatever it was, like August 4th. So on August 4th, we pointed this out, that this bearish divergence, you're probably going to have continuation downside. Now you have 1 drive and 2 drives. A bearish divergence right here. Just zoom into the chart. So we're finally getting some downward momentum going on the SPX, which we've been waiting for. And where do we see a retest of? Well, if we come back down to small term time frames, right? This would be your market structure line. So any closure below 4,107 would invalidate this upward move on the 1 hour time frame, which seems to show the best trending move, and I would take it from the 1 hour time frame. So any closes below that would then signify a change in market structure, and then the most likely move would be to the downside, and then we would look for a retest of this level right here of 4,012. That's also in confluence with how Bitcoin's looking and how Ethereum's looking. We've been saying this since last week, but we're finally getting this move down, while Bitcoin and Ethereum kind of did a slight liquidity grab / swing failure pattern on Ethereum yesterday, like during the weekend. Let's take a look at, I believe it was Flow. Yes, this was the coin we were looking at. It was a big move the other day, and I think the last stream I did Friday was I went over this coin. So Friday, what was I saying? What I was going over was we have this range right here. We broke out of this valley area high, big move up. I believe we were around the 786 at that time. I said, as long as you're above the 786, you're going to come up to this range high and most likely pull back, retest this valley area high, and then continuation to the upside. We did come up to these range highs. We actually broke above the current range highs. But if we come down to the smaller term time frames, you see that we have some very large imbalances / fair value gaps within this area that need to be filled before, as well as I would consider this to be your market structure line right here. So let me if we break below that line, then you switch market structure from bullish to bearish, and you can see that we did that. We did it as along with a continuation candle, so that's significant as well. So coming back up, and where's your last significant move up? Right into this area. I would consider this to be your bearish order block between $3 and $3.05. So coming back up, retest of this, and then continuation to the downside, fill this fair value gap, and then you'll probably get your next bounce right there. So let's just take our Fibonacci levels from this swing low to swing high. And you can see that we have the 705 coming in right near the bottom of the fair value gap as well. If you wanted to take a volume profile of this move, I don't think it's going to show much, to be quite honest. Yeah, you have a lot of volume coming in at the top, which signifies some trapped longs coming in at the top. You see how heavily the value area is skewed. All right. Well, it doesn't look like anyone's watching. Oh, MKO. Copy. Mission on. Is that what I want? No, that's not what I want. I'll wait a few minutes to see if some people come in, and some people have some coins they want me to go over. If not, I know a decent amount of people just watch these back, so that's no problem. We can go over another coin. ADA had a big move up. Everyone was talking about. Okay. On the daily time frame, just get rid of this as well. On the daily time frame, see that we have been ranging around for quite some time, since May 14th. I go over my macro levels in a minute for ADA. I've done this in the past, but you can see we just came up and retested this value high. There's nothing of much significance to this, to be quite honest. We see that the volume profile, the value area is skewed to the downside, so a break up out of this value high is to be expected there. Hey man, hope you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you. I am doing. I'm fine. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? How is your cat doing? But a break above this value area high, a retest, and the continuation to the upside, maybe retest this right here, is to be expected. Honestly, retest of the point of control at this point seems to be in play, unless we didn't break. Yeah, we already broke market structure there, and we didn't quite yet. Just swing failure pattern. Yeah, this doesn't look the best, to be quite honest. So no complaints here. Good here. Yeah, low to time frame market structure doesn't look the best. So you might break out of this value high now, but really coming back down with the rest of the market. Fill this fair value gap at 47.74, 48.86 between right there. I'll mark it out for you. As well as just coming back to retest this point of control while the market corrects. Seems to be the most likely scenario. We've been range bound since May 14th, so there doesn't seem to be too much of a rush. I think I saw the other day that there was like large accumulation of ADA occurring at these levels, so the longer they keep it down here and force other people to sell, the more time they have to buy. Alright. So let's go to the Bitcoin, and we can do the macro levels. Okay. So I explained how I did these levels in the past. I'm not going to go over too much again, but you can just take my word for it. You don't have to take my word for it, but these are the levels I trade based off of macro-wise since the $69,000 top. You see how they've held up fairly well. So the question is, are we going to, the thumbnail is, are we going to 33 or are we going to break the support at 21,650 and go to 10,000 or even the point of control here, which is at 9,200? Or like wick below, close below, something, a scenario like that. That's not what I want. So, shoot, stop. There you go. Good. I know how to do my job. Perfect. So what would give us any sense of direction here is coming back down, holding this as support, and then continuation to the upside, and a continuation candle specifically. So coming back down, hold this as support, having more or less, maybe you can close as a red candle, no problem there. But then the next candle following would have to be a green weekly candle, and then that would give confluence. And also no drives of any bearish divergence or anything like that on the daily. Would then give us the confidence to say that we're probably going to continue up and retest this 382 at 33. Any closure below this level, weekly closure below 21,650, we could do a daily. I just like to see weekly. This hasn't been respected all that well, to be quite honest with you, on the daily, like especially right here was a bit of a trap. So seeing a weekly closure below 21,650 to the pretty much almost to the dollar, we could take this, would give me confidence that we're just weekly wise, we're gonna just we're gonna capitulate to 1058, and then potentially my real target. This is my closure target. I'll say weekly closure target, but my wick basis is essentially this point of control here, which is just the macro volume profile. Because it's quite interesting to see how low volume Bitcoin has been on Bitstamp, but how how low volume. This is spot, so it's just quite interesting to see. There's not a lot of interest at this area. OP, no problem. Oh my god, I just jumped to 5. Oh, I don't know. Like, is 1:30 just a better time for you all? Because I was like 5 minutes ago, I had 0 viewers. So what happened? I was about to end it. Not that I'm not complaining. I'm very grateful you're here, but I'm just curious. Is just 1:30 a better time? I'll check OP. Let me just actually go over one more thing. It's just interesting to see that there's just not a lot of interest at these areas, and that the interest before has been to the downside. Now, of course, what we've been talking about, skewed volume profile, so value areas is heavily skewed to the downside, so coming down, test these levels, and then continuation upside. Yeah, I think that everyone at this point, hopefully, I mean, unless you've been like scared by the news, come down, set your bear market low, and then float around, continuation, set a new all-time high. I got late. My dog. Oh, okay. I was just curious because this appears to be the time that everyone shows up. And I was just curious if I should just start the stream at 1:30 from now on. OP. Okay. We've been talking about this one, and what we've been talking about, or what I talked about last week. Just go down. Daily chart was just gonna come back as long as you're above the 786. You're just going to come back and retest your all-time high. And that's exactly what we did. You had a kind of a swing failure pattern, just grab some liquidity above the all-time high. Continuation downside, you're breaking out the 786, so you come back down, retest this untested support and resistance level daily. Actually, that might just, this right here, which appears to be the 786. Go down to lower time frames. I'm sure there's fair value gaps at this range. Actually, maybe not. No, not too much. But come down, retest right here. So maybe something along. So let's just actually. So this is our downside targets. What would invalidate this downside target? Closing the daily above the 786. Closing daily above the 786 would then give me confidence that we're probably going to break out of this all-time high. However, we also have this market structure break. This is a bit of a tricky one. I don't like these coins. I mean, honestly, it's broken. So I would say this would be your market structure, which is so. Yeah, let's say this. There you go. I'll be generous to bulls. This is your market structure. We broke it last week. I think I talked about this last week on stream. So where do you expect to pull back into your last significant move up before continuation, before you actually like start the real downtrend, right? You're gonna set a lower high. So this would be your bear short of block. If you're confused about this, I do have a video, but you can still ask questions in the chat. This would be it. We slightly tapped it, right? I never said you're gonna don't expect it to fill or hold to the T or anything like that. Just expect to price to come into. The only thing that would invalidate this zone is we close above it, and so any wick, it's not on a wick basis, just closing above it would invalidate it. But we see we can slightly look into, and continuation and downside. We broke out of this little range we had going on. So we're getting slight bounce here. Let's see why. Probably the 6, 8. Yep. No complaints there. We can also take our volume profiles to see where we're going to get a slight retest. Yep, perfect. So coming back, retest this value area low along with this VWAP, daily VWAP, and then coming back down to this important daily level at $1, roughly $1.50. Also just a big whole number seems to be at play there. Any other coin you guys want me to look at? I know there's a bit of a delay, so I will wait. While we wait, if you're not already part of our Discord server, link is in the description below. It's completely free. Login traders in there. If you don't like it, you can always leave. Just come say hello. Guess I can also talk about if you trade on Bybit, or if you're looking to trade on Bybit, I think it's the best. Unify. Okay, we go to Unify. I think it's the best exchange. Never goes down, etc., etc., etc. There's a link in the description to get discounted fees. Don't pay for more than, there's no point in giving away your money on fees, really. Alright. Okay. I think I've done this coin before, and it was just like, why am I even looking at this? This just looks like shit. So we can just look at smaller term time frames. This was our market structure low, broke below it. Where do we expect to pump into our last significant move up, which happens to be right here, I would say. It is a big zone. We'd never pump back into it, so that might actually be our area of interest. So we seem to be holding this as support. No, we'll take a look at the volume profile, Fibonacci levels, but we seem to be holding this as support. So coming into this order block right here, you might have a good short opportunity in small time frames. Bang, and you also have the 0.5 Fibonacci level within this region. So 1053 seems to be of great interest. Just maybe just make a note of that on your charts. If it does come up to these levels, that would be like a good technical short position. You did see that we filled this fair value cap right here. If I marked it out from before, right? Bagged it off. Came into it, filled it. Still have a little liquidity left at the bottom, so that might be of interest as well. But let's take a look at our volume profile. And I want to take it from this swing low to this swing high just to see. Okay, yeah, we're also holding this value area low of this little mini range that we have going on. So going back to retest this point of control. If you reject the point of control, of course, then you're going to be looking to take some profits off of some longs from this side, as long as taking possibly a short position. It does seem that the volume profile of this little range is skewed to the upside, so we look for that indicates us that we're most likely going to break to the downside. Trapped volume at the top, but just mark this on your charts just in case it does break out of this little range. This seems to be actually respecting levels fairly well. We'll just take this as a value area low and the market structure line. So do we build drives or anything? No. And nothing yet. Yeah. So really short-term time frames, you might come back. Let's just take a look at like the 3 minute. You might come back. We have some extreme contraction of price. Let me see, we haven't really moved anywhere. So coming back to fill this wick at the 618 Fibonacci level, $8.29 roughly would be of interest, and then maybe you can catch a long position, and hopefully you'll ride up into this, at least to the daily VWAP. Alright. Well, I think I will end the stream there. Thank you all for watching. Once again, Discord links in the description. Come join us. Come hang out. It's getting a lot more active, which is great. I like to see people sharing their ideas and everything. Also, if you trade on Bybit, link is in the description below. Get discounted fees. If you don't trade on Bybit, that's fine. If you just want to like learn how to leverage, if you're new to leverage trading crypto and stuff like that, I encourage you to educate yourself. So like watch free videos on YouTube and stuff how to trade. Just don't just jump into it. Come up with a strategy, paper trade, or at least backtest, maybe even paper trade, and then you can put some money on the line. If you want to like instead of paper trading, you want to put like $5 or something like that, sure. But you know, don't just jump into it. I don't think there's a lot of new traders watching my streams, but if there are, don't just jump into it. That's not a good idea. But thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye.